Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year.
Try not to be a cunt, it's Christmas. Take a tip from Santa's helm. The rest of us are doing our best to be jolly. So don't go looking like you swallowed a bunch of holly. Don't shout at carols, sing us and tell them to stop. Don't buy your presents from the Oxman shop. For fuck's sake, be merry, have another sherry. Try not to be a cunt. Try not to be a cunt. With the reindeer, I'm sleighing up to Lapland. Try not to be a cunt. C-U-N-T, cuntity, cuntity, cunt.
What is it?
I don't know. Let's see. Some kind of message.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then
Available.
and homelessness and all that. And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume. I'm kind of retarded.
As you may or may not be aware, today is Festivus. So I want to start by saying Happy Festivus and Merry Christmas. Oh, and fuck Kwanzaa, arguably the stupidest holiday ever invented. But don't take my word for it.
You don't even celebrate Kwanzaa.
That's because they make us feel like it's whack. They make us feel like all of our stuff is whack.
Kwanzaa is whack. I know the guy who invented Kwanzaa. Owes me $35.
So whether you're having a more traditional family Christmas or something more like what I expect Christmas is like in the Zuckerberg house,
Merry Christmas, humans.
I hope you all find a way to be joyous and merry. Oh, and by the way, that AI metal Christmas song in the intro, if you're interested, the whole video can be found right here, and I highly recommend it. I mean, metal isn't even my forte, but this was some pretty good shit. I do love the non-traditional Christmas songs, or even non-traditional remakes of Christmas songs, like Bad Religion did a whole Christmas album, and ever since I was a little kid, The Little Drummer Boy was my favorite Christmas song, and the version they did is my favorite version ever. So that's also worth checking out, as well as the Dropkick Murphys' The Season's Upon Us. There's a music video for it, and it is quite good. I also love the non-traditional Christmas movies. Everybody always seems to want to talk about Die Hard, but by far my all-time favorite Christmas movie? Gremlins. And it's much more difficult for anyone to argue that that one isn't a Christmas movie. But another one that if you've never seen before, I would recommend checking it out this Christmas is a movie called Trapped in Paradise. That movie is fucking hilarious and very Christmassy. So what are some other ones? If any of you have some non-traditional Christmas movies that you think are worth checking out, drop them down in the comments. I had been thinking about this last month because it dawned on me that there really isn't very many Thanksgiving movies. The only ones I can even really think of are Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and what would be my favorite, Dutch. So that's another. If anybody can think of any Thanksgiving movies, drop that in the comments too. I'm curious. And it seems like some of my Christmas presents came early this year. For one thing, in the wake of Justin Trudeau coming down to Mar-a-Lago and making himself look like a weak little bitch, his own party is now demanding that he resign. And they're saying if he doesn't, in the coming new year, they're gonna do a no-confidence vote and yank his ass. I'm just surprised that he was able to hold on to the reins of power for as long as he has. And then there was the Georgia Appeals Court ruling that Fani Willis and her whole team had to be removed from the Trump prosecution. It turns out that lying about the prosecutor she appointed in the case being her little boy toy wasn't a very good idea, as well as lying about nobody in their office having any kind of coordination with the White House, because there are visitor logs, dumbass. And while as of now that indictment still does stand, it's probably only a matter of time before those charges get dropped. And then there was the House Committee report recommending Liz Cheney be investigated criminally for witness tampering on the January 6th committee, a fairly serious crime that carries up to possible 20 years in prison. And coincidentally, many of the more mainstream news outlets ran with basically all the same headlines. After investigating Jan 6, House GOP sides with Trump and goes after Liz Cheney. Republicans side with Trump after Jan 6 investigation and target Liz Cheney. Now, when she was going after him, it's, oh, they're just holding him accountable, but now they're siding with Trump and targeting Miss Piggy. It reminds me of the recent report released by the Inspector General on what happened on January 6th, where they determined that the FBI had at least 26 confidential human sources. I say at least because the 26 represents the ones that have been proven that they were. And the majority of them did in fact enter the Capitol grounds and engage in illegal activity. And how did CNN decide to report on this? No undercover FBI agents were at the Jan 6 U.S. Capitol riot, Watchdog reports. Because technically, confidential human sources are not undercover agents. This is what's known as burying the lead, or lying by structure. Most people just read that headline and go, oh, see, those people claiming the FBI had people in the crowd are full of shit. Not to mention the fact that when we say there was undercover feds, we're not just referring to the FBI. It came out 8 months ago that you even had a undercover DC cop that was actually disciplined for participating in the riot. So the fact that this narrative has been total bullshit has been pretty obvious for quite a while, but apparently some people are just now hearing the news.
The news comes amidst a bombshell report from the Justice Department that revealed the FBI had at least 26 confidential informants on the ground when the Capitol was stormed on January 6, 2021. The report says most of the informants engaged in illegal activity during the chaos. The Justice Department says only 3 of its 26 informants present had been instructed to observe potential domestic terrorist suspects on the day of the riot. The rest of the 23 appear to have gone to the Capitol on their own accord. Upon hearing news of the report, Vice President-elect J.D. Vance posted the following on X, quote, "For those keeping score at home, this was labeled a dangerous conspiracy theory months ago," end quote. Didn't hear anything about that for the election. Didn't hear anything about that when the quote-unquote insurrection was broached by Vice President Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee. The belief that Donald Trump was a danger to democracy and using this as a profound, illuminating bullet point to make that case. And now here we are yet again finding even more evidence to Donald Trump's claims when he articulated that process is rigged. My big issue is that I'm really, really sick and tired of every time I turn around finding something else that the Democrats have lied about or downplayed or misrepresented along the way. I mean, I see Republicans like Megyn Kelly or Officer Tatum or Candace Owens or, you know, the Sean Hannitys of the world. You know what I'm getting tired of? You know what I'm getting to the Democratic Party? You know what I'm getting really pissed off about? I'm getting really ticked off at every time they open their mouth about something pertaining to y'all, they seem right.
I will give him a little bit of credit where credit is due. For the giant shit I took on his head a couple weeks ago over his appearance on The View, I think he was totally deserving, but a lot of people, when they get news that contradicts the way they've looked at something, they try to just spin it or dismiss it or totally poo-poo it, but I'll give him credit, he's not doing that bullshit. And then I saw this story about a car in Minneapolis getting vandalized by a neo-Nazi.
Wait for it.
I mean, I know neo-Nazis aren't really the brightest crayons in the box, but how fucking derpy do you have to be to not even be able to draw a proper swastika? Especially if this is the symbol that you revere the most. So let's just say I'm a little bit skeptical as to whether or not this was done by a legit neo-Nazi. But the fucking memes that were in the comments of this story, pure gold. It's like Jesus said, "Blessed are the meme makers."
He did not say that.
I don't know, I think he did.
No, he didn't.
I think maybe Matthew heard him wrong. And I told you, Frank, you're not allowed to chime in unless you're willing to be on camera. And I think maybe the tastiest treat this past week happened on Wednesday, when all of a sudden they said, here's this 1,500-page behemoth, and I know you all just got it yesterday, so being able to actually read it would be fucking impossible, but we just gotta get it done. And Mike Johnson's doing all these morning show interviews talking about how, oh, well, you know, I don't like it, but we just have to do it. But then after Elon Musk and Trump started tweeting about it, a fucking fire erupted, and next thing you know, it lost so much support that he didn't even bring it up for a vote. And a bunch of the bigger bitches in Congress, on both sides of the aisle, like Eye Patch McCain, started crying about how they're not going to get their raise. Well, actually, it was more like, oh no, now the government might shut down. But Americans were like,
I don't give a fuck.
Because the amount of bullshit spending that was in that bill was insane. I mean, it was another $60 billion for Ukraine, funding for 12 new biolabs. I mean, it was an omnibus spending bill, and they were trying to pass it off as a continuing resolution just to make sure the government pays its bills. It would have blocked congressional subpoenas, basically offering de facto immunity for trying to do something about the illegality of the January 6th committee. As well as right in the middle of it, a provision that would hamper the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, aka RFK Jr., and keep him from being able to revise the vaccine injury table so that they could fuck over all the people that got hurt or dead from taking this mRNA bullshit. So Mike Johnson got slapped down like the little bitch that he is. And all on the news, they're whining about, oh man, people might not get paid for the holidays. And they're interviewing military spouses on Good Morning America. And, oh, this is just a terrible time for this, what with the holidays and all. Yeah, you get paid on the 1st and 15th. You already got the last check you're going to get for this year. And I'm pretty sure that's the way it works for all federal employees. So don't give me that, oh, but it's Christmas. But anyway, to make a long story short, yada yada yada, they passed a clean bill that was a fraction of that size that people could actually read, that kept the government open and also added in the farmer relief as well as the hurricane relief for Helene. These motherfuckers waited 85 days and did nothing to help the people in western North Carolina, and then tried to shove it in that bill and be like, look, the Republicans don't care about the hurricane victims. And then they all started crying about Elon Musk. Oh my, an unelected billionaire is having influence over politics. Yeah, it's okay when somebody like Soros does it, and at least he fucking does it openly and publicly and states his intentions instead of working secretly behind the scenes. And when he openly and publicly threatened to fund a primary challenger for any Republican that voted for the original bullshit bill, I think that made as much a difference as the voices of all the rest of Twitter combined. And for that, I say thank you. And as for my feelings about Mike Johnson...
No. It smells like pussy! You want it? It smells like the asshole! It smells like a pile of bullshit!
And while I was sort of doom scrolling on Twitter the other day looking for the latest on these drone sightings, I came across a video of some dude with herpes saying that these are legit aliens.
That's just a plane, not a drone. Now, can we stop calling them drones? They're obviously UFOs, people. Come on. It's all over the world now. It's not just in a little thing in New Jersey. Just saw one from China today. It's all over the world. What do you think? That some country, Iran, has the capacity and the capability to monitor and fly these drones all over the world at the same time? Doing the maneuvers that they're doing? I mean,
Yeah, because whether they're coming from another solar system or galaxy or maybe even dimension, the first place they would obviously want to go is New Jersey. I mean, maybe they were big fans of The Sopranos and they wanted to check it out. Boy, would they be fucking disappointed. And as for what this really is and what's actually happening, it still could be a number of things, and it could be multiple things at once. You've had people that make drones for the military come out and say, oh no, it couldn't be nuke sniffer stuff, because those systems are too heavy. As if it's not possible that DARPA could have come up with a new generation of nuke sniffer technology that's more lightweight. I mean, 25 years ago, the really advanced thermal optics weighed like 90 fucking pounds. And there's also the fact that these drone sightings are falling into two categories. Some that could be considered military-grade hardware that are like the size of an SUV. The existence of those isn't exactly classified, but maybe all of their capabilities are. But then you've also got these motherfucking orbs. Some of the local news affiliates have reported on, and some have even caught footage of them. And I came across a video of an army specialist talking about how it's the military flying these drones up there and they're not what you need to worry about, but these orbs are actually aliens. And shit, if this guy wasn't authorized to actually put that out there, he's gonna be in deep shit. But even then, it doesn't make it true. Because if we have 3 or 4 generations ahead in totally secret technology, they're not going to let the military know that they're actually fighting our super secret hidden space program in the skies. They're going to say, oh no, those are actually aliens, soldier. And then you've also had the people saying that these drones are actually Chinese. And at first you might be tempted to laugh that off.
You dumb bastard.
But wouldn't it be a little naive to think that the Chinese version of DARPA couldn't have also made advances in zero-gravity drive technology? But regardless, if these orbs are actually 3 or 4 generations ahead of the quadcopter-type drone technology that's out there for the public, why would they be showing it off all of a sudden?
Now, most of the information on the subject is nonsense. I found out that there were covert programs that were staging alien abductions and mutilations. Everyone thinks those are aliens doing that. So no, it's not. The CIA special projects and some other special operations people. How are they doing it? Let me give you a date. October 1954 is when we mastered what's called gravity control. You can take an object, put an electromagnetic field, boom, and it flies, like these videos you see that the Pentagon has released and confirmed that they're real. So that was 1954. So by the late 50s, early 60s, these were platforms or advanced technology aircraft that don't use jets or rockets, highly classified. And the other reason for the secrecy, I'm going to tell you right now, is to sort of create the specter of a threat from outer space, which doesn't exist, by the way. It's totally a fraud, for the purpose of amassing more military power globally, by staging a threat from outer space. And remember, if you look at our documentary Unacknowledged, which is still up on Amazon, all the platforms, it details how Werner von Braun, who invented the rocket for Adolf Hitler, on his deathbed begged a member of my team, Carol Rosen, to expose the fact that they were planning to stage an alien attack and to look like we're under some sort of threat. And it was all a false flag, totally a false operation. And that the purpose behind that would be to amass huge amounts of geopolitical power, sort of in a totalitarian way, through military operations.
So that was Stephen Greer. I've mentioned him before a number of times, and he's been talking about this blue beam type shit for years and years, decades. Somebody else that I recently came across that's worth checking out is this dark journalist guy, and everything that he's talking about seems to fit in really well with all the shit that Greer's been saying. And the idea that all this leads up to a fake alien threat blue beam operation, it doesn't exclude the whole nuclear bomb threat. Other elements of the government could have planted a nuclear bomb themselves and then threw a little intel out there and have a different part of our government looking for it, and they probably don't even realize that it was other elements of their very own government that put the fucking thing there to begin with. But they're gonna need a cover story once the bomb goes off, like, oh, we tried our hardest and we didn't want to panic the public. But I really don't know. I'm just sort of thinking out loud here about the different possibilities. And whatever it is, my gut tells me it's really gonna jump off in the next few weeks. So whatever the story ends up being, just don't forget the incredible coincidence of this all happening to go down right before Trump is about to get inaugurated. Hell of a time to be alive. Sláinte.
Bitches ain't shit, but hoes and tricks. Lick on these nuts and suck the dick. Get the fuck out after you're done, then I hops in my coupe and run. Bitches ain't shit, but hoes and tricks. Grab the cash and make it quick. Long as my pockets is nice and fat, don't give a fuck where the bitch was at. Ballin' down in motherfucking Compton on the streets, tighter than a motherfucker with all of them gangsta beats. Bitches ain't shit, but hoes and tricks. Bailed from jail on a sunny day. I'm hanging with Snoop D-O double G and my homeboy Dr. Dre.
To the window, to the wall, till the sweat drops down my balls. Until all these bitches crawl. Ah, skeet, skeet, goddamn. Getting crunk in the club she's working. I like to see them females twerking. Taking their clothes off, bucking naked. ATL ho, don't disrespect it. 369, damn she fine. Hoping she can sock it to me one more time. Bring your ass right over here, ho, and let me see you get low. To the window, to the wall, till the sweat drops down my balls. Oh, by golly, skeet, skeet, motherfucker, goddamn.
To the window, to the wall, till the sweat drops down and falls. Until all the puppies crawl. Ah, sweet, sweet, gosh darn.
Getting crunk in the club she's working. I like to see them females twerking. Taking their clothes off, bucking naked. ATL ho, don't disrespect it. 369, damn she fine.
Santa's coming into town. He's coming hard and fast. And all I want for Christmas is his wiener in my ass. Oh, stuff my stocking, Santa. Yeah, this chimney's nice and tight. So come inside, don't be shy, and you can stay the night. Eat my cookie, Santa. Hope you have an appetite. Hope you brought that big old sack, 'cause that's just what I like. And Santa, since it's Christmas, you can cover me in white. 'Cause I've been such a good girl, yeah, but I'll be bad tonight. Fuck me, silly Santa Claus, and fuck me in the ass. Fuck me